This video is meant for entertainment purposes only. It is not meant to bring any harm to Slasher Radio or anyone else involved. These are strictly my opinions. Please take this video with a grain of salt.
What's up, guys? Bones from Slasher Radio here. Dead by Daylight on their Twitter feed confirmed that Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to the game finally in 2025. This is about a year out, and there's a lot of speculation of what's going on here, and I just wanted to throw out a thought that I think is highly supported. Also, maybe to temper expectations just a little bit.
Here's one thing I don't get. If you understand this is a highly anticipated chapter, why go out of your way to damper expectations?
Based on this, let's take a look at the tweet here. Nothing but an image, no caption, no nothing, just Dead by Daylight, Five Nights at Freddy's, summer 2025. A lot of people are jumping to conclusions that this could be an anniversary chapter.
I mean, yeah, of course people are jumping to that conclusion because June 14th is when the game first came out, which is in the summer, and it's the summer of 2025, which is what the box below says.
Which something this big and of this magnitude absolutely could be. But I just want to go over something that I don't really see anybody talking about right now. And that is that this very well could be just cosmetics. Again, we don't know anything. Dead by Daylight hasn't said anything but this image that we see here. The only other place that I've seen this mentioned was by friend of the show, Polyester, and he really didn't go into depth on the cosmetic thing.
Maybe he didn't touch on it that much because it's a stupid point that doesn't have any sources really to back it up.
And listening to him talk about this on his streams on Twitch, Paulie is not on the side of this whole cosmetic thought. To be honest, neither am I. But he does have a great video going over Five Nights at Freddy's collab. So if you haven't already, go over to his channel and check that out. I'll throw the link in the description so it's nice and easy for you guys to find.
Yeah, if you want to see the unedited version of Slash's video, I'll put a link to the video in the description below so you guys can watch it and judge for yourself.
But let's take a look at other promotion images that were released for collections recently. Slipknot, Dead by Daylight X Slipknot. Iron Maiden, Dead by Daylight X Iron Maiden.
I'm sorry, but if you really think that these images back up your claim, this is completely false. You forgot to include the images that just have the logo on them, and they say collection on it. I'll go into the rest of the point later on in the video.
And you can even go back to Naughty Bear when that cosmetic was released, Dead by Daylight X Naughty Bear. These are all for collections, or in Naughty Bear's case, one single cosmetic, but nonetheless, only cosmetics and skins for characters, not an actual chapter. Let's also look at the most recent Tomb Raider chapter. Lara Croft came to the game, but the image is Dead by Daylight, Tomb Raider. That was for that chapter. Dungeons and Dragons before that, Dead by Daylight, Dungeons and Dragons. You can even look at Chucky, Dead by Daylight, Chucky. Even Alien, Dead by Daylight, Alien. Also, in all fairness, if you look back to the Sadako chapter, there was also an X when this was announced. There's a lot of theories that behavior only does the X when they are announcing content early, which can go either way for cosmetic or chapter.
You forgot that they also did this with the Resident Evil chapter, and that post was made 2 months in advance. The collection images he showed were only made to make it look cool, so people would buy the skins, not because the actual band members were coming to the game as survivors. Same with the Attack on Titan collaboration, which he didn't mention in this video. Also, another point I would like to make is that Dweeb made a post on Twitter saying that they used this style when announcing something super early into the game. They said it took 2 months for the Resident Evil chapter, 3 months before Sadako, and now 10 months before FNAF.
So again, just speculating here. There's a few things that need to be said about this. First of all, I just want to reiterate that nobody knows what exactly this is. This is not me saying it's definitely cosmetics.
Well, no, you aren't, but you aren't really making any valid points either.
But I'm looking at it as it very well could be. I also do not think anybody should be upset if it's only cosmetics. Scott Kaufman did an interview recently where he explained why he's very tentative about putting Five Nights at Freddy's in games, and everyone knows how much he protects his IP.
Well, yes, he does care for his IP and protects it. He also cares a lot about his fans, and he knows that people have been begging him to do a collaboration with either Fortnite or Dead by Daylight. He also stated that while he may enjoy the games, that doesn't necessarily mean it belongs there, and would feel more like a mismatch more than anything. Recently, with the Castlevania chapter, they have made Dracula feel like you're playing as the vampire from the games, albeit very limited on what he can potentially do. Scott knows that they treat IPs with respect, so he might have just walked up to Behavior themselves and simply asked if they can do his IP justice, could they put it in the game for FNAF's 10-year anniversary? And that's just me speculating.
That's a good thing. That's okay. That's a sign of a strong IP. When you start tossing it around, it's not special anymore. And I think that Five Nights at Freddy's has done a phenomenal job of keeping it very special. And when something does come out, like the movie that was done by Blumhouse, it was a big deal because we don't see this IP very often. And when we do, it's one of their games. And it's branched out into the movie recently, which is getting a sequel, and now Dead by Daylight in some form or fashion. If it is just cosmetics, I can see a lot of players being upset, being disappointed. As I just mentioned, and Scott's talked about many times himself, this license is not easily accessible. It is not thrown around. This very well could have been all they were willing to do. And I don't think that we should get mad at Behavior, Dead by Daylight, for doing what they can do.
Yes, he is absolutely right. We shouldn't get mad over cosmetics, but you also don't know what Scott is willing to do to keep his fans happy. He knows his fans would love a Five Nights at Freddy's chapter, being able to play as the man behind the slaughter. So if he just said, oh yeah, make some cosmetics out of this, that wouldn't really feel special at all. If anything, it just seems kind of lazy, which Scott isn't normally known for. This is a huge risk he's taken with his IP, and seeing how both Steelwall and Blumhouse both respected the IP, he's willing to try his hand at other studios like Behavior, which have made some awesome original chapters, and is very careful with how the licensed IP is handled when it comes to characters like Myers, Pinhead, and a lot of other licensed killers in the game.
I think if that's the case, the only other answer is to have nothing from Five Nights at Freddy's at all in the game, and nobody wants that. So all that being said, I hope it's a chapter as well. It would be really cool to see these characters come into the world of Dead by Daylight and seeing what they've done with IPs like Chucky and Alien and all kinds of things and all things in the past. Seeing those characters adapted into the Dead by Daylight world and what they do has been dope to see.
Then why are you so adamant that this is a cosmetic collaboration when not even the post itself has a single mention of a cosmetic collaboration like Slipknot, Iron Maiden, and Attack on Titan all have done in the past? You even misled your audience by titling the video this.
And I would love to see what they could do with great characters like we have in Five Nights at Freddy's. I do want to talk about longtime community member IR Chris on Twitter threw out these thoughts, and I think they're worth mentioning. It seems like Chris is talking about these being cosmetics as well, or maybe he's talking about the powers. Didn't clarify exactly what Chris meant, but here's what he said. Freddy Fazbear could be like Trapper.
And Trapper is the weakest killer in this game, so if he's talking power-wise, that is not at all accurate to the character.
Foxy could be Hillbilly / Leatherface.
Speed-wise, yes, I could see Foxy as Hillbilly, but I cannot see Foxy holding a chainsaw and screaming at survivors.
As we've seen in our interview with Matthew Cote back with the release of the Dungeons & Dragons chapter, they're not going to stack licenses. So Leatherface, probably not. Hillbilly, possibility. Bonnie could be like Huntress, and Chica could be like Legion.
Chica physically cannot work as Legion because Legion are a bunch of teenagers with knives, while Chica in the games is depicted as a glutton who eats and eats, even going as far as to say, I'm a bird who likes to eat in the cut song Inside Help Wanted.
Springtrap would be similar to Trickster.
I'm not even making a point to show you how wrong that is.
Chris also mentioned that Springtrap could be similar to Ghostface.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Again, the stacking license issues with Ghostface and something with Five Nights at Freddy's would not happen. But this goes to show you that these characters could work as cosmetics.
Everyone aside from Chica, Springtrap, and Freddy would work as cosmetics. Freddy I would see more working as Wraith since he's super stealthy in the first game. Chica would work as Clown because of the glutton argument, and Springtrap would honestly work as Unknown because of the mutilated corpse inside.
And we could still see Five Nights at Freddy's in the game. And even if it's not a full chapter, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I can already see the storm that would occur.
Oh, buddy, you have no idea.
I see a lot of things said about IPs and coming into the game, and I'm not a huge Five Nights at Freddy's fan. Personally, I don't know much about the history, the lore, but I am pretty well versed in IPs, and almost all of it is in the hand of the IP holder. There's really not much someone going after acquiring someone else's property can do. If there's only so much that the IP holder wants to give, that's all you can do, guys. Again, if this is just a cosmetic collection, at least Dead by Daylight went out there and did what they had to do and got involved with a property that is very difficult to acquire. As we've seen before, Fortnite has been dying to have Five Nights at Freddy's in the game, and it doesn't look like that's happening at all.
Yeah, because Scott said himself that he isn't going to use his IP where it's neither not respected or horror related. Fortnite just grabs random IPs and shoves them into the store for money, while Behavior tries to make the character fit the actual game, and so far they've done a really good job with that.
So fingers crossed that it's a full chapter. That would be incredible for the game, and I would love to see what Behavior would do with these characters and how they would adapt them into the world. But guys, if it is just the cosmetic, we need to calm down and at least be happy that we got Five Nights at Freddy's in the game in some capacity. So just wanted to put these thoughts out there. I see a lot of people getting carried away, and hopefully rightfully so. But giving the teaser image in the tweet from Behavior, we also have to look at past promotional images and put together what we can, because they didn't say much. Also worth mentioning, there's been a lot of leaks and things like that going around, and that sucks for the immersion of what they're trying to do. This also could be them trying to get ahead on some leaks. And maybe this image was just put together, and maybe it was just thrown out there, and maybe this is all about nothing. Again, we don't know. I'm just throwing out a point of view that I don't see talked about enough, and I don't want to see the air taken out from underneath a lot of players.
Well, that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and if you want to see more videos like this, drop a like down below. And hey, if you're new and want to see more, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to never miss a video. As always, stay awesome, guys.